Sorry, it went quiet there. Yeah, I'm great. I'm great, Eric. I'm really great, actually. Not well. In this moment in time, as I say, it's not difficult to be. It's not hard. Sorry, not easy to be great right now, given the news that's everything you put on the news. But given the circumstances, I'm in a good place.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now you're over in Dubai, is that right?
I am, yeah. I've been here now 8 years, but I mean, this last year I've been back and forward a lot to Aberdeen. Obviously, opened the Aberdeen office. Obviously, I mean, I think the last thing I was back was February, and then it's just gone into lockdown mode after that. So it'll be a wee while before I get back to Aberdeen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, now, a lot of the people watching this are going to know Colin Manson's name as one of the original founders of Exodus Group. You set that up back when? When did you start that?
Well, it was 2005. We set that up. Me and Steve and a couple of other guys got going. I mean, it was an incredible journey at the time, Eric. It was great fun. I mean, I'm actually super proud of Exodus looking back. I think it's where it is in the market, where the reputation it has stood the test of time. It's suffered now it's third downturn, and I think it's always a test of a company that can survive, through these really rough times. So yeah, I still know a lot of the guys in there. Steve's obviously still running it. Yeah. He was one of the founders, and I've still got a lot of good pals in there. So I've got very fond memories of Exodus.
I bet you do. So from leaving university, all the sort of commercial experience, the technical and engineering experience, and just the general sort of running of companies and running of business has taken you to where you are today, Colin. And you're now Chief Executive of Xergy. What's that all about?
Well, I think I'll get you a laugh, right? I mean, we went in to run the Exodus Group. I mean, I had no business experience whatsoever. I mean, I'm not even, no MBA, no, pretty much didn't even know what a P&L was back in 2005. So there was a fairly rapid, learning curve through that process. But actually, something that I really enjoyed, and I think I was quite good at it. And like all these things, there's some things you're good at and bad at. But I work for a company called the Xergy Group now, which I'm one of the founders of. Myself and James McCallum, who you may know from Xergy days, who were a competitor to Exodus. Actually, they were in subsurface Australia, we were in mostly surface side. And as most people would be surprised, because we sort of went head to head quite a bit in that space, but would be surprised now that we're business partners. But we both saw that there was an opportunity. I think, what Xergy did, Xergy's a tech company, right? It's getting, in theory, it's got nothing to do with the oil and gas industry.
Right.
That said and done, it has, because clearly our target market for the first year is oil and gas, because it's the market that James and I know. When you're pushing a new product into the market, and I'll come on to what the product is in a second, but when you're pushing a new product out there, you go for somewhere that you know. If I'm trying to push this into the mining industry or the semiconductor industry right now, I don't know where to start, right? Yeah. But the technology we're developing would work in all these industries. It's just, we're pushing into oil and gas just now because that'll get us going, that'll get us a revenue stream, and it'll get us into a good place. So a bit of a, going into a technology company is, I talk about, going in at the deep end from, at least Exodus, when we set up Exodus, I had no business experience, but I knew my way around the consultancy market, and I knew my way around the industry. Yeah. I'd never done a tech startup in my life before, so that was some really leap of faith going into that. But ultimately, the product we have, I could have developed this technology. Proteus is the product, by the way. I could have developed Proteus to, and I probably nearly did at one point, to be the heartbeat of my new company. And I was going to go into a traditional model, and go to Exodus 2 or Leviticus, or whatever you want to call it, we're going to go down that route. And you know, it's and I could have gone down that. At one place, I was really close to going down that route, but I decided not to, and decided to develop the tech, because I felt that there was lots of companies out around the world that would benefit from the tech that I was, you know, that I had this idea over. So, you know, and it really is and it's an incredible journey, Eric. And because two summers ago, I was sat in, you know, tech startups work on a budget of 2.5 pence. You know, it's not oil company number. I know things have changed in the oil company, but the budgets you're working on are so it's quite cathartic in that way. You know, everybody works from home, everybody works in an office or in a kitchen. There's no travel budgets, so everybody does VCs. So I've been in this world now for, you know, nearly 2.5, 3 years now.
So can you just explain that world and what you've tried to create? So what the principles are of what you've tried to create?
The product, the Proteus product. Well, so Exodus, like every company in the oil and gas industry, and I'll use Exodus as a good example because I know it inside out. You know, it's a traditional model, and I hope Steve doesn't mind me saying that, because they are cutting edge in what they do. But it's got a high fixed cost. You hire lots of engineers, or hire a big team. You go and find work, and charge the engineers out at X% more than you pay them, and you make a margin. Right? Yep. But what we realised, and it's still the same, and it goes right across the industry, whether you're selling software, equipment, or man-hours, or whatever it is, you have the same problems of utilisation. You know, what happens when a project stops and you've got to pay your staff, or you've got to pay for your equipment, or you know, and everything now is sitting idle, whether that's a person or equipment. You know, so it's the same problem for most companies, and it's a huge amount of waste in the industry. It's a huge amount of and that waste is actually passed back on to the operators, because you have to run with such a high charge out rate, whether it be equipment or software, to cover the waste, which is cover the time that the person's sitting, you know, not idle, you know, because somebody has to pay that person. And if you can get that sucked out of that waste taken out of the whole thing, you can put spectacular savings back into the supply chain, and you know, I think I've said in various documents, somewhere between 20 and 30%. You know, that's a big gap, you know, 20 and 30, but really how you would use the software will give you massive savings on your bottom line. So what the software does is it's based on, there's a kind of boring part to it. I mean, I hate saying it's a boring part, but because it's dead exciting, it's taken us a year to develop this boring part, right? And but it's a work management system. The terminology that everybody uses is ERP, which I can't stand, because it puts you into a bracket with SAP and Oracle and all that stuff. Ours is not like that. It's a work management system that allows you to get everything in the right place. You know, when you're doing a proposal, you've got all the CVs in the same format. You've got all the contracts in the right place. You've got all the, you do your cost, time, resource, your CTRs, all in the same format. All the data is taken from databases. All that really is quite boring, but actually most companies still don't do that.
Correct.
You know, they still develop all this stuff from scratch.
And have to steal it all from different drives and different places.
Steal it from, I'll cut and paste this, and I'll cut and paste that. Now, so we've brought all that into one place, and that's right from an opportunity through to an invoice going out the door, right? And every workflow that's in the middle there. And yes, people are going, oh, not another ERP system. We could go and get a timesheet system over there. And there's lots of companies that have done all that, but nobody's done it like this, and nobody's got it all in one place, and nobody's got it all under one bonnet, right? And then I brought in two other really, really sexy features, and that's what makes us unique, because that's not unique, right? It is unique in a way, and it's better than everybody else, right? But that's a hard sell, right? That's a hard sell to get a company to rip out their current system and put in, because Colin Manson said it's good, it's really good. And, you know, but what we've done is we've developed a marketplace where freelancers, which is a terminology that's not used very commonly in the oil and gas industry. You know, it is across the world. You know, the sort of Uberization of the world. the freelancers exist everywhere, in every walk of life now, where you can, if you want a website built, you go to Upwork and you get a web developer and he does it for $2,000. It used to cost you 25 grand 5 years ago to get a website developed. But it's now cheap, and because it's very competitive, that there's lots of good people on there, and they can do it from their own house, they can do it from wherever they are in the world, and you don't ever have to meet that person. You can do it all like this. So we're creating this marketplace of engineers and scientists and planners and project managers that allows companies. So you're sat there now, your headcount is say 100, but your utilization's a disaster zone because you have a great month, then you have a really bad month, wipes everything out. You need to either reduce your staff headcount down to become more competitive, but then of course you get the big wave coming in. Go and find them as a freelancer. Hook into them as a freelancer. Get the work done. You can sign up that freelancer can become part of your Proteus account. You're all working in a little office using the Proteus system. That freelancer, all you have to do is send them an email or her an email, and they're now part of your system. They're now working. They're all part of your team. They can see all the project information. They don't have to come to the office. They don't have to interface. You can do that by VC. It's all there. And as soon as the project's finished, you rate that person. They rate you back as a company, and that person goes and finds the next gig, right? And you had 100% utilization on your project, right? No utilization issues, right? So that is a unique part to this industry, right? There's a few websites out there, that try to connect a project to a person, which is just a dating site and a glorified dating site. So ours is totally different to that. Ours is you come in the morning and you log into Proteus and you never leave Proteus. And then there's just this wee magic button over on the left-hand side that takes you to the marketplace that's got thousands of engineers, scientists and whatever that you can access quickly. And they're going to be rated. So you know that you're getting good staff or good people. What it also opens up to that person doesn't have to be in Aberdeen, or that person doesn't have to be in London. That person can be in Brazil or Alaska or wherever. You set the criteria. One of your searches might be you have to be in the same time zone as me, which brings it down because you have to join with VCs. You have to speak English. You have to speak. Your written English has to be a certain standard, and that would narrow down your search all the time. But if really you're just looking for somebody to do a bunch of calcs for you, and it's just a ton of handle stuff, find them on there. They're going to be really competitive because you might have 10 people on there, all bidding for the same little bit of work, and you'll get a great rate for it.
So you're keeping the freelancers hungry and looking for work. You're giving the client a choice of people and a centralized workspace. So I guess the question might come out, knowing the type of work that might be done in this kind of space. I might be a really cool structural engineer or process engineer from Bangladesh or LA or whatever. I might not necessarily have the software that I need to be involved in your project. How does Proteus help me with that?
Yeah, well, that is the third spoke in our wheel. Is the engineering software gateway, because we couldn't expect freelancers to carry licenses to this software because most of the engineering softwares are pretty expensive. Whether it be Ansys or HYSYS or Olga or Eclipse or they're all fairly chunky numbers, right? So we've developed a thing called the engineering software gateway. So that you go to the gateway, you select the software you want to use, and you go to a cloud version of that software. Because traditionally, most of this software still runs in a desktop or runs in a server in the company's office. But we go to a cloud version. So all our software is cloud-based, by the way. Everything is cloud-based, so no hardware, so you can log on your phone, your iPad, whatever you want. So you can then go and run. So let's say you're a freelancer, and I want you to do this structural project. I've invited you in. I'm in Dubai. You're in Aberdeen. You're working away, and you say, "Colin, I need access to Ansys to go and do this project. I've got a contract with that. We've got a contract with Ansys. Great." You go to the software gateway. You click on it. It starts the meter running. I've given you logins to get into Ansys, so not everybody can go into it. You start the meter running. You do your project. I get a bill that because we pay for it the hour now instead of buying a license, a 3-year license or a 5-year license or something like that. So it's the bill comes back to me. I know you've used it for 3 hours. I then pass that bill on to the ultimate client, whether it be Shell or BP or whatever it is that you're doing the project for. So again, I'm cutting out a load of fat, right? Because at the moment, a company buys that software, and it's spectacularly difficult to work out how much it actually costs you and how much you bill it back to a client at. Because again, you buy software and it may well be used heavily, but it's used for 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day. So it's at best its utilization is about 30%, which means that 70% of the time it's sitting idle. So ultimately, you again as maybe as an Exodus or a Genesis or whoever these companies are that would be using my software, they're having to price the software back to the ultimate client to cover that that underutilization. So somebody somewhere is having to pay for that fat that's in the system right now. So we aim to take that fat out of the system as well. So you actually only pay for what you get, for what you use. In fact, something, it's actually hilarious, right? Because it's full circle, right? See, when I started in the industry back in the late 80s,
yep.
And we had, and the volume of software back then was nothing like it is now, right? And it was certainly not as sophisticated. Everything was written in Fortran. And if you wanted to run it, you had to go and run it so each company had a big mainframe, and you booked time on the mainframe, and you ran your software on the mainframe, and it gave you a wee bill at the end saying you've used the mainframe for 3 hours, and here's the bill that goes back to the ultimate client. We used to have this model, and then stopped having this model.
A question that might come up, Colin, if you're sitting watching this and you're being teased along and thinking this is the way forward, is so my cool engineer in LA or Bangladesh, wherever it was, has done the work. Who checks it? How's it checked and reviewed?
Yeah, that doesn't change. I mean, we're not trying to change. Well, we are trying to change the world, right? But there are slowly but surely. We're not trying to. We can't disrupt that whole. If somebody's doing that work, then somebody has to check it. Now, if that checker is, if you've got somebody in LA and somebody has to be doing the checking in Bangladesh, then that's cool, because that person is also part of the same system as you. You're both part of the project, right? I mean, there's a lot of, because we've created a product here that works across all different industries, right? So it's technically not designed for the oil and gas industry. It's designed for everything, right? So if there's so things like where you have to maybe get a calculation, and that calculation is still done in Excel, say. People still do lots of calculations in Excel. I'm not replicating all those calculations in my system. You still do that calculation. You would then share it with the checker who's in Bangladesh, as you mentioned, and he would check it and sign it. And that would all be done, but it would be done via our system, because we've got our own messaging system, we've got our own sort of interaction system. What we do have, we have document sharing in our system. We've got our own document header, and that's where we can stop at that. We've not tried to repeat Excel or MathCAD or any of that kind of stuff. That still, you would operate all that through an existing channel, but we would just make it easier to communicate between everybody in that respect.
So what stage are you at just now? Is this live today, Colin?
No, we've got 10 beta. We've had a closed beta running for about 6 weeks now, and with 10 companies. We're getting close. It's getting very exciting, and it's gone really well. I would be the biggest liar on the planet if I said we had never found a bug. We're finding bugs all the time, right? And fixing them. It's getting less and less, as you would expect, as we approach the launch date. So there's two key aspects to this. One is this ERP side, this work management part, and then the other part is the marketplace. The marketplace is going to be ready on the 24th. So my ERP part is available on the 14th, but really I'm going to hold it back that 10 days so that we launched the whole thing in one go on the 24th of April. So as of the 24th of April, people will be able to go to our website. At the moment, you can just go and sign up, and we're asking people, well, give us a call and we'll let you into the beta if we've got space and kind of thing. So, but as of the 24th, you'll be able to go there, put in your company details, and you'll have a Proteus account set up. If you're a freelancer, you can go and sign up as a freelancer, and you can have access to the marketplace. Now, I'll manage a little bit of expectation here, because obviously we're selling this into the oil and gas industry at the moment, which is not doing well, for various global problems. And the feedback we're getting is people are really desperate for us to get this marketplace launched. Because lots of people are losing their jobs, people see it as an opportunity to go and find another job or to find a gig or a project or whatever. Our marketplace is only as good as the projects that are on it, so, and at the moment, certainly in the short term, I can't see even a huge amount of projects on there. So people have to realise that the marketplace is not going to solve the whole global crisis right now. But I would encourage people to get on there, get their profiles on there as fast as possible. The more effort you put into that, because when it does come back, and projects start to get posted, and when companies are using, and there'll be a bunch of companies using this over the next 3 months. We've got a fantastic pipeline of companies that are going to sign up to it over there, and they'll all be, and some of them are big companies as well. Some of the large companies will be using this. And like all these downturns, when it comes back, they're all going to need people straight away, and we're going to offer the solutions. So it's So there's a mobile app goes with it as well, Eric. There's you would have access to the mobile app, which allows you to manage your profile, do your timesheet, usual kind of things. Look at your dashboard and all that kind of stuff, and that'll be available on the 24th to download as well. So it's an exciting month for us, which I find quite. It's quite difficult to say that right now because it's a troublesome time, and everything seems to be quite exciting for us, which is very different for everybody else. So,
I think, yeah. I mean, I personally think it's fine for you to say it's an exciting time because the world needs to move on, right? The world needs to keep chuntering on, keep progressing. And the bottom line is the industry, the oil and gas industry that you said that you're primarily targeting in the early stages, needs revolution, needs absolutely new ways of thinking. All these staffers, all these contractors that are left, if there's any left in oil and gas right now, have all been forced to the house. They're all sitting in the house. So we've got all these talented engineers and specialists. We've got all these clients with projects. Everybody confused about how it's working. How can you do it if you're not in the office because my desktop's there and blah blah blah. It almost seems as if what you've set up is an enabler to the new ways of working as we come out of this hump.
Eric, absolutely bang on, right? And I mean, we obviously I spec this nearly 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. We put all this down in paper, and it was designed to improve margins, which at the time I had the oil industry in my mind, obviously because it's my experience, and it was still in the middle of a fairly chunky downturn. So how can you improve margins? How can you be more competitive in a low oil price market? So it was designed for that, and it was designed to facilitate this new way of working, which I had embraced, and everybody around me was embracing this, being able to be more free, work from home, be freelance, work when you want to work, and of course, the events of the last few months have accelerated everything into, that I didn't design it for any of these moments, and but it certainly has made, the whole home working thing, people have really realised there's a different way of working here. And in some places, a spectacularly more efficient way of working. Particularly if you were faced with a lengthy commute every morning, or as much as I miss it, how often do you sit around the office having a chat about the last night's football game or the whatever it happens, and people just get things done now. People are just getting things done, and
absolutely.
I think, and yeah, so we are well positioned there, and it's, you know, and I remember back in the back when we set up Extras, 2005. Now remember 1999, it had been $10 oil, and it was a fairly slow, laborious recovery from 1999, and in 2005 when we set up, it was about $35–36 oil, right? Now, but at the time that was very healthy because it had been at 10. And see the number of people and we, of course, we made it very quickly. We became profitable in the first year, and everything went really well. We grew the company really fast, and we became the kind of darlings of that side of the business. And a number of people used to say to me how lucky I was because I timed it so well, and I'd been waiting for the oil price to be the right price for, which honestly was absolute and utter garbage, right?
Yeah.
And I've had the same. It was nothing to do with anything like that, right? We just, in fact, the timing was around when I could get some money. When I could get some money out of my house to put it in the company, you know, that was the actual driver that was behind it. But and this time it's kind of,
there wasn't so much strategic genius.
No, it was absolutely not. But you had to get everything else right, and it's the same this time. And I've had a few people this last week just saying how lucky we are, and current events are maybe making it. People realise the software is good, or the software is a moment. It still is. I've still got to go and sell a software into an industry that's on its knees. So I've got that to battle.
Challenge ahead of you.
As much as I'm going to go and say to every client, this is going to save you money on the bottom line, you know. But they've still got to write a check, you know. And they're not actually, because I'm going to give it a 3 month. Nobody's going to pay for this until the end of the summer. We're giving a 3 month period, so. May, June, July are going to be free to anybody that signs up, by the way, and that's a company or a freelancer. So the freelancer transaction fee is going to be waived as well for that 3 month period. But obviously at some point I need to monetize this business because I need to make some money.
Of course you do. So Colin, allowing businesses to absolutely change their business model. You know, getting results back onto the bottom line, 15, 20, 30%, fantastic. Yeah. Simplifying, using the freelancers, revolutionizing the way that business is managed. How can people get a hold of you and your people, Colin, through your website?
Yes, if they go to the website, they can request a demo, which takes them to Andy Derrick. Andy's our head of sales. We're still a small company, Eric, right? And, you know, there is a fair chance that if you phone the help desk next week, you'll get me in the end of the phone. You know, we're a typical tech startup, albeit we've got a big client base and a growing client base. They'll get via the website. The phone number for the Aberdeen office is on there. They can call that. They can ask to speak to me. They can email me at any time. Colin.manson@xergy.com. I'm pretty good at responding. What their needs are, and you know, we're open. We're really open for business. And what we will now, obviously, over the next 6 months, I need to grow my team. I need to grow my team now. You know, tech support, technical sales, people who are going into clients' offices and making sure everything's working properly, making sure that they're using all the features of Proteus to the absolute max. You know, but at the moment there only is 19 of us in the team at the moment, and most of those guys are developers. You know, are still finishing off the product. But we will grow. We'll be about 40 by the end of the year, I think.
Colin, it's been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you. We wish you all the best, and best of success with Xergy, and hoping to see you and your family get out of this horrible period that we're all in safely. All right?
Yes, it'll be great. It's been super, thanks. Honestly, I've really enjoyed that. Good to see you again. Cheers, then.
Thank you so much.